going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Pop Culture Corner. Today, or tonight, before we get into things, I did want to mention Springfield Comic Con. The days are numbered. 10 days away. Springfield Comic Con, Saggy Melons, and myself are going to be hanging out on Saturday, July 23rd. I know Springfield Comic Con is going on that day and everything, but if you're in the Massachusetts area and you want to hang out, definitely feel free to DM me. And I can put you on to where you can get passes and stuff like that. Whoo! Tonight, I'm joined by Mr. Cole Turner. Is that your last name? Is that, I don't know if I should say that.
Yes, it is.
But tonight we're going to be talking about, something that I've been really passionate about lately. And I know that you're always interested in at least having the discussion about, other life outside of Earth.
Yeah, I don't know like the most about like certain cases or
Well,
do
just
too well with like going into detail, but I'm always fascinated by it, and I always believe a lot of cases like this.
right, and we tried to have this conversation before.
Mhm.
It got a little derailed as far as like religion goes.
Yeah, I meant to only invite him on for like 15 minutes for that one section, but then it really derailed.
Yeah, and I mean, anytime religion, I feel like it's whenever the waters get muddied with religion, um, it can get really sour really quickly, right? Like
Mhm.
people, I mean, that's their faith, right? That's who they are. Sometimes is their religious beliefs.
Yeah.
So for you to question that, or to even begin to formulate a different kind of narrative, some people really take it offensively. And you know what? Like I don't want to step on anyone's toes. So I'm here to have my own conversations
Mhm.
lately. And, the more and more I look into the subject, the more and more I'm fascinated. I mean, have you ever seen anything you couldn't explain?
Me personally, no, sadly.
No,
I
not
wish.
at all.
Oh, actually, there is this one story, but it doesn't involve UFOs. It involves like ghosts. You could like chalk it down to like sleep
Why?
paralysis
I
or
like I
something.
like I like the supernatural as well.
Yeah. So basically, I was looking at like places. I stayed in Toronto for a year with my family, and we were looking at like when I was like 13, and we were looking at places to like rent out. And yeah, we got like an ad for one. We texted the people, and we went there. It was completely abandoned, and
Ah,
lights were on. There were clothes everywhere, but nobody was there. All the doors were open, and there was even a gun. So then, yeah, we just
what?
got in. So then we just got into the car and left. But as we were driving away,
This is
I
a an
I looked in.
Airbnb.
Yeah. Oh no, it was like a random house for like rent.
Oh, okay, yeah, like we used
Yeah,
to
and
do.
as
Yeah.
we were driving away, though, I looked in the top window and I did see a dark figure. And then
Mm.
later that night, I woke up in the middle of the night. I saw it beside the door, then passed out. And, I'm thinking, okay, that's obvious, like a hallucination, sleep paralysis, 99% sure. And it probably is that. But then I, asked two of my family members, and they said who didn't see the figure. Well, while driving away, it was just me. And they said they saw the same thing, like woke up in the middle of the night and saw something like that.
Yeah, that's freaky, man. I
Yeah.
paranormal shit doesn't sit well with me. Like it doesn't.
Yeah.
I can get up to it, and I've explored abandoned mansions. I filmed it. You know, anyone who knows me growing up knows that I was always the first one in the door, but that doesn't necessarily mean I liked it. Like I didn't like it at all. And if any ghosts like pops out on me, that's a wrap, right? Like I'm gonna soil myself.
Oh,
But
yeah.
but as far
Absolutely would hate that.
but a lot of people say about ghosts and UFOs or alien beings is a higher conscious, right? Like achieving a higher conscious level.
Mhm.
That some UFOs, or I mean some alien, or let's call them extraterrestrial, right? I don't like that word alien. It really like has a bad stigma around it. But let's call them extraterrestrial, right? Some people say that there are some forms or versions of extraterrestrials that have achieved a higher consciousness, and that they are no longer tied to the world that we perceive. And that one explanation for it could be that's why we only see lights with some of them, right? Like these really, really bright auras or lights streaking across the sky, etc., whatever. Um, th- there's always been that connection of you know I mean, I believe there's, as of right now, 12 levels of consciousness. And I don't know if you subscribe to like the interdimensional stuff or like the multiverse theory,
Uh,
any of
I
those
don't
kinds of
really.
things.
Again, I don't really believe in like paranormal stuff though. Like, it would be cool. I just haven't really, like, I've been to like the most haunted. Besides that one thing, which is probably just like hysteria, hallucination, paralysis. I've been to like every sort of haunted place with like my buddies all the time, late at night. Never seen anything. Never have any like encounters like that, and I just think it's illogical. Like I love like the idea of it though, and like the multi dimensions. That's always
Do you,
really cool.
I, how do you feel about I hate for one, there's one theory that I really, really irks me, and that's the like the computer or the whatever simulation theory
Mm,
that we're all inside like some sort of matrix thing or whatever,
yeah,
like some video game. I don't like that because it doesn't make me feel good to think that like I'm not real or I mean that there's some of it like don't get me wrong, I'm not like a crackpot. I don't believe in half, 90% of the stuff, but I'm at least willing to have the conversation
yeah.
and theorize about it.
Yeah, the
I think,
simulation stuff again also interesting. It does freak me out a bit as well thinking about it, as you said, but I also think it's kind of illogical. If there were to be something like that, I think just there's multi universes and created by someone, whether it's religious like God or not, and yeah, we're like just like one of them, like an abandoned one, basically. That's all.
right. And that's actually part of, I mean, so I did, so I've been really honing in on who the people in this UFO community are, right? Because there are some of them out there that I think have like very, very, very highly financially motivated reasons behind what they say, what they do, the stories they tell. And they're even in I found this out that even in the UFO community, there are factions, much like the DC fandom has, like the regular DC fans and the Snyder DC fans, and then, yada yada and so on and so forth. So there's people that subscribe to the whole God created the universe, God is the reason for everything. And I find it most times that the people that have God behind it are the people that are bullshitting the most.
Yeah.
And they directly correlate with each other.
Hmm.
Let's not get it twisted. Like I said, 90% of the UFO sightings out there can be explained, whisked away, or whatever. But there are
Yeah.
10% of them out there that are legitimate. Like they're incredible observational testimony.
Yeah. Like I just don't understand how you can like explain that the classic one we all know with the military that like caught it on their radar. I don't know how you can
The
prove that wrong.
Yeah, this is so one of them was the gimbal,
Yeah, this
right?
one.
So the gimbal was shot from God, if what was that? Was it the USS? God, there was the Nimitz, the Princeton. So the Nimitz and the Princeton were in 2004. Those were in the same battle group. So the same strike force group. They were working in like a team. Um, and then I don't know if it was John F. Kennedy. I don't even know if that's the one or the Roosevelt. Maybe it was the Roosevelt. Um, that on the East Coast, that's where the gimbal video and the Go Fast video. No. Yeah, the Go Fast video and the gimbal video both came from the East Coast in 2014 or 2000, yeah, 2014. So there are multiple multiple detections of separate craft, right? So there's the Tic Tac craft. That's the one that Commander Fravor and Kevin Day of the Princeton saw, right? So the Princeton was tracking multiple bogeys. And when I say multiple, I mean upwards of 12, they said. So upwards of 12 to 15, 40-foot white, tic-tac shaped craft that were descending from the upper atmosphere, flying at heights that were the heights that they were at and how fast they were going, or let's say how slow that they were going. Any other aircraft would have fallen out of the sky. It would have fell right out of the sky because it was not creating enough force to keep it airborne. Nor did it have fucking wings or any means of propulsion, by that matter. And so you have Commander Fravor, who was headed out on a training exercise that day. Very, very, very clear, stagnant, blue, wide open oceans. No white caps, no nothing. So the wind wasn't even blowing the water around. That's how still everything was. So they go out and they're doing a training with the Marine Corps. So Commander Fravor and his wingman, and then one other F8 Super Hornet were going to basically be in a dogfight with two other planes. So they were on their way to performing this training exercise, and Kevin Day calls in and says, "Hey, we're gonna take you off training for real world vector." So real world vector, for anyone who doesn't know, is when so a vector is a way to measure or it's a that but that's beside the point. So we have a real world task, basically. So these pilots go, okay, cool. We're going to come out and we're going to go and do something. Probably, they're off the coast of San Diego. So they think they're probably, going on a drug run, right? Stopping some, whatever, drug cartel deal. They come in, they're flying to the Latin Long of where Kevin Day told them, and Kevin reports that they've been merge plotted, or they're at merge plot, which means the radar can no longer tell you from the bogey, right? Because a radar can only sense so much. So once you're on top of it, they call merge plot, and then it's up to the pilot. They call merge plot, and they're looking around like, where is this thing, right? Like, you can't see anything. They're looking over, up, and around, and just so happens that they see this thing cruising right on top of the ocean, right? Like 10 feet from the ocean where it starts, and it's just doing some fucking unreal maneuvers, right? Taking right-hand turns, 90-degree angles, stopping, going back, and they're like, what the fuck is that? And that's where it started, right? So that's where you get the TikTok, when they came back, Dietrich, who was the other pilot, she goes up to keep an eye on it, and she's convinced. She's like, I'm going to see someone die today. She was like, because Commander Fravor was like, I'm gonna go in, take a look, right? So he starts performing evasive maneuvers, and just really like gets in a dogfight with this thing, which is outmatching him on every single level that you can be outmatched on: speed, maneuverability. This thing almost had a sensitude to it, so it knew that he was there, and it was just, and at the time they're in the Super Hornet. That's that plane. I can't stress this enough. That vehicle that he's flying is the best of the best. It's the top of the line, in the world, and it was fucking brand new, right? So that's the way he says it. He says it was, fresh out of the Boeing factory. So he's like, dude, we're flying what is considered the highest of standard in aviation at that time, aside from like the stealth shit. And then this thing just, it made him look like a bitch. So Commander Fravor retreats, basically, because he's still got shit to do. So he retreats, tells someone about it, or tells the next pilot about it, and the next pilot's like, I'm gonna go get this thing. And I mean, he got it on radar. He didn't go get the thing, but he got it on radar, and that's the video that we see. So that's the video where I can probably look it up actually, but you know the video that I'm talking about with the Tic Tac, and it just he locks it.
Yeah.
So he locks it, and then it just as soon as he locks it, right, it comes back that the radar is being jammed. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, if you are actively, so there's a difference between active and passive blocking of radar. So if you're flying a stealth plane, you're gonna passively block radar. Like you're gonna jam radar passively because you, you've your craft can't be seen by the radar. You're not blocking the radar, but you just can't be seen by it, right? There's a difference between that and actively jamming radar. Actively jamming radar is a fucking it's a basically a what do they call it? Like a sign of war, a declaration of war. Like it's
Yeah, I think
what do they call that? God, it's like right on the tip of my tongue.
a
Something of
Declaration of
war.
Independence. Or...
No. Like it's a basically like fuck you. Like they call it like not an act of war. It's an act of war.
Yeah.
So that's an act of war if you jam someone's radar. And this thing was doing it. And the government doesn't the government doesn't have any like obviously they've been throwing around, oh, it could have been a drone. No. I mean, this pilot, Commander Fravor, flew for 20 years, Top Gun pilot. He knows what he's talking about. So, I mean, I believe him. I don't know about you, but
yeah, I believe him.
And for most people, they say that they're with the advent of the nuclear weapon, right? So, I mean, you could go back further than that. So, I think we've always been visited by civilization. I mean, the Native American tribes, the Hopi, they talk about the space people, right? So the space people that basically created them, right?
And
so
you can see it in like Renaissance paintings
yeah,
in the
and
background.
yeah, you can literally see it in a lot of the because people forget that in the Renaissance is basically like them stepping out against the church. Not it wasn't them defying the church, but it was people having their own thoughts and expressions, and the church did not like it, right? So they if you actively stood against the church, like if you didn't subscribe to their beliefs or at least their narrative, they would kill you. Like they would literally kill you.
Mm-hmm.
And so these painters had to basically hide this shit. And I think that they might have been hiding it for clues. There's a fucking literal UFO. Got it. Now I'm gonna have to find
Like
it.
I know the most famous one is
When
the
the
one with
dog
like
is even looking up, the guy's like
yeah.
pointing, and the dog's looking up, and there's a UFO in the back. It's clear
Yeah.
UFO.
Oh yeah, that one, and then also the one where it's like that lady in the like apartment, and through the window you see it in the corner.
Yeah.
Oh, those are like the
I'm
two
gonna pull
most
them all
famous
up.
ones.
I think they were talking about the same one.
Yeah, maybe, but
It's like with the babies.
yeah,
This
that
one right here.
let's see.
Don't tell. Yeah, there it is. So a lot of people say that there's a clear UFO in this painting, right here. So if you look at
Mm-hmm.
it, you can see the dude and his dog looking up at
Oh
the
yeah,
UFO, right? So it looks like they were hiding, trying to hide it in plain sight. And a lot of that, a lot of the times that they had to do this. But that was. I mean, you could go so many ways with this. I mean, but the
yeah.
proof
I mean,
is pretty sketchy.
you can try to say like, oh, that's like a sun or something like that, but
Yeah,
I mean, if you looked at like how they did all their paintings and like those artists, like it's very different from just like how they were, and they don't draw suns like that
I
anyway.
mean,
Like
look at
that,
this one. I mean, they look like they're legitimately flying craft, and there was
yeah.
no such aerial vehicle at this time. I promise you. So, I mean, you could attribute this to them like riding a
I
star
don't
or
know if it
whatever.
was. Yeah, I don't know if that's like
But
some
but look
religious
look
saying,
at
sort of like
but what are those?
Cupid or
Look
whatever.
at the shapes of what they're in, and
Hmm.
then look at that. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Hmm.
Similarity? I mean, there's a clear similarity. You can't deny
Yeah.
it. You
It's like
definitely can't deny it.
a lot of people keep bringing up like, I mean, it's just means it's like unidentified. It could mean anything, like just new military tech. But I mean,
So did I bring up the one you were thinking of or no?
yeah, you did. But it's like I understand that like
Here's another
defense
one.
with like a lot of them, but like some of these you can't really use that defense for, in
Look at
my
this one.
opinion.
I mean, there is
Oh
literally
damn!
someone flying a fucking craft in
I
this
mean
one.
that one
This is pretty
the
clear.
one in the top, or
Look at the one. There's a little thing at the top.
I think you could like say that's like the sun in the background. That's just like some cloud
You
effects,
think
and
that's
that's
like a
like
speed? But okay,
that's like
okay.
an
Well,
angel. That's
well,
like
look.
an
What about
angel
this?
there.
What about this? Do you think that there's a possibility that now here we're gonna go down the fucking rabbit hole? Do you think that there's a possibility that people back then maybe mistook, or maybe we're calling them a? What if they're one and the same? What if religion and what we call UFOs or science, the science of it. What if they're one and the same, and we've just labeled it incorrectly, or they labeled it incorrectly? And what if they are one and the same thing, and all the religious beliefs came from some form of being visited? I mean, if you were say you were part of the ancient Sumerian tribe, which is arguably where life started, right? So most people will agree that the ancient Sumerians were the first people, first civilization, right? So modern day Iraq, basically, right? That's where the first civilization spawned from. And they had these beings that they talked about that have been transcribed loosely because no one's really cracked the 100% code to cuneiform, but which is cuneiform is the first known written dialect or language, if you want to call it that. So cuneiform, no one's really cracked the code to it except there was one guy who did, but he talks about this race of beings that created all of humankind basically to be a slave to mine gold for these gods,
Mm.
what they were called as gods, right?
I mean, could you say that's like
No, it would
you,
explain why we have an instinctive fascination with gold.
well,
It
that, but
makes
would you also say that had something to do with like I forgot the one guy, the one like the guy who had all the gold, like the richest man before in like that one African country or whatever it was.
I don't know.
I'll try to find his name. It was the guy who had like all the gold.
I think you're thinking of a South American.
Yes, it was the
It was a South American king, right?
yeah, it
Ruler.
was Mansa Musa, whatever.
Yeah. So he was, and I mean, then we go down. Now someone fucking explain this to me, because if there's one explanation that does make sense, it's that aliens or some fucking thing came down and gave the same information to both sides of the world, right? Why are there pyramids in both sides of the world? It makes when for the most part, we 100% know there was no communication between the Eastern and Western, worlds until much later on, after all this construction happened. And how did they build the pyramids? It doesn't even make sense. Like factually, it doesn't even, like, we don't even fathom how they did it. I don't think anyone's been able to come up with a good explanation, for how the pyramids were actually constructed, because each one of those slabs weighs like a ridiculous amount, especially the pyramids in Egypt. Those things, one slab of that shit, I mean, it'd be hard for us to recreate the pyramids today, let alone fucking, when they did it. So there's pyramids on both sides of the world, or much, in many of these ancient cultures, they all built these weird pyramids that are aligned with the stars in a very, very mathematical way. Like, not just oh, coincidence. No, it's very, very mathematical. And almost to like perfect. Also, there are these kings, like who you just mentioned, who used to cover themselves with like gold dust, and I believe the king that you're talking about, he used to drop gold into this um, lake, and
Yeah.
the conquistadors came along after, and I mean they tried to drain that lake multiple times, and just to keep getting the gold out of it, but um, I mean people do crazy shit for gold for no reason because gold is not that unique. Like people forget, gold is not as rare. I mean, it's rare, but it's unlike. I mean, it's not like any other element on the periodic table.
Oh yeah.
Like their magnesium is more rare than gold.
Mhm.
And we don't, we don't crave magnesium, like people crave gold. Like people will do dirty shit for money, and essentially, money and gold are interchangeable, right? So do you think that there's any correlation between the nuclear weapon and the spike in UFO sightings?
Uh, I think there's. I can't really say for sure. I mean, definitely was. Seems like though there was definitely like a huge shift, like from like technology at that point when the sightings like were happening around
And I
that
hate. I'm not a huge like. Whenever someone begins their or their story with "I was abducted by an alien," that's when I check out. Like immediately, I check out right there.
Oh well, I
Um,
mean, film elitists would love those stories because he wants to try to interview those people for content.
who?
Film elitists.
Who's that?
Oh, you know the guy on the Illuminati podcast you were on, that guy, the host, the
Oh,
Fast
okay,
King.
okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So, um, he's like he tries to interview them.
yeah.
Um, so no, 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 no. That's typically when I check out. But there are many people who say when they've gotten close. So if they've had a close encounter. So like Kevin Day of the USS Princeton, he was on a ship that in he's the one who called it into Commander Fravor. He was nowhere near the thing and claims that he had nightmares for months after his encounter with these things, like
Mhm.
world-ending nightmares all the time. Now, is he bullshitting? I don't know. But a lot of people that say that they were either abducted or spoke to aliens or fucking talked to aliens or, whatever, touched a ship, touched their penis. I have no idea. But they all claim the dangers to come back with a new realization about the dangers of technology. Is there some form of correlation? I think so. Because, I mean, look at the sheer number. Sheer number. Now, all of these weapons, right? So, all of these, whatever, call them, nukes or whatever you want to, nuclear warheads, nuclear weapons, whatever you want to call them. There's enough on this planet right now to completely fucking wipe out the earth. Like, clean off the map. So, that would have ramifications, seemingly, throughout our solar system, right? It would throw shit off course.
Mhm.
Like an exploding planet just doesn't go unnoticed. So if it has an effect to our solar system, therefore it has an effect to the universe. Plus, we're a planet that can sustain life. We're already unique. Now, could it be that once we reached a degree of chaos like this, like once we split the atom, it kind of sent the bat signal out to the universe to say the humans are capable of higher war form or higher warfare, higher destruction, a higher degree of just pure. I mean, look at the nuclear technology, right? Splitting an atom, what it did to Hiroshima, right? The
Yeah,
destruction, the pure destructive capability of a nuclear weapon. That pretty much summarizes our technology, right? And our
yeah.
race. Honestly, we're a destructive race of beings. So maybe someone's keeping us in check.
I mean, it would make sense.
Would it not?
Yeah.
If
Well, I mean, they've been spying on us the whole time. You know, they it's not like they would really want to like communicate because they just think of us as fucking idiot animals, and
Like,
we
look at
kind
the
of and
monkeys
we
that split the
and we
atom.
are.
Look at
Yeah.
the idiot monkeys that learned how to split an atom.
Yep,
We
and
we have
they're true, but yeah. So just keeping the spying on them, keeping them in check at least. Yeah.
we have no. By the way, we have detonated a nuclear weapon in space many times,
Hmm.
and well, I think we've done it twice, maybe. I know we did it once successfully. There have been other reports of attempted space explosions of nuclear weapons that have been faulted, or the missile tumbled out of the sky. And other people have claimed, there's a photographer. So there's a photographer that is in the unacknowledged. Well, he's in a lot of fucking UFO documentaries, and it's he doesn't appear on the documentaries, but back in the early 2000, I think it was 2001, a couple months before 9/11, the National Press Club, led by Stephen Greer, the guy that I've been paying attention to. I mean, I pay attention to Luis Elizondo, Tom DeLonge of Blink 182 somehow is a big name in UFOs somehow. Uh, Tom DeLonge, Christopher Mellon. Christopher Mellon is the former assistant CIA director, I believe. His family, I mean, he's part of the Mellon dynasty of government. Like, the Mellons have been embedded in deep, deep government ties for years. And Christopher Mellon is the reason that those videos that we're talking about, like the gimbal, the go fast, those ones, he's the reason they're out. He's a believer. He's a part of, or he was a part of To the Stars Academy until him and Luis Elizondo left, which I don't know why they left. I'd be interested to know why they left.
Do you think it has something to do with like people like swaying them or at all or?
But the only thing that makes sense, right? I've thought about it many times, and that's the only conclusion I can come to every single time,
Mhm.
is that something happened, and maybe they tried to buy To the Stars and shut them up. I don't,
Probably. But
and
also,
then
I mean, more sightings did start happening, wasn't it? Like, I mean,
once after, yeah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah,
around the Roswell, around that time, and that was after World War II, right? So,
yeah. So
do you
right,
think
so
maybe
right as World War II ended,
Hiroshima did it? Like, made them like
yeah,
realize after seeing the explosion? Yeah.
yeah, and I truly believe that they are trying to save us from mutually assured destruction. And there is a reason. They're not just here because out of the goodness of their hearts, if they have any. I don't know if they have a heart. Maybe they have two. I don't know. I don't believe they're here out of the goodness of their own heart. I think they might be here because they have something directly to do with. I think all life is connected to some degree. Um, I don't know how you want to take that. It's surely not a religious thing, because I am the furthest thing from religious. But I think that maybe there is some correlation between why we don't have the answers to where we started or where we came from, and why we don't know who they are. And I think there's a correlate. I've been formulating my own theory because I'm not going to subscribe to something that someone else tells me. I want to directly apprehend it for myself. So my theory is that we've been visited before, and we've been visited many times before, but very, very seldomly, right? In most religious texts, they speak about the gods in a sense that the gods would show up, be gone, then be gone for years at a time, but then come back and then, repeat that cycle. Sound like something else, or think you could think about, right?
Yeah.
There's so many correlations you could draw
Hmm.
to religious, the god of the sun, right? Okay, we what are the three color UFOs that are typically seen?
Would it be red? Yellow would be one of them, wouldn't it?
Red, orange, yellow, and blue are typically
Hmm.
the sometimes green, right? So those are the colors that we typically see when it comes to UFO, right? You don't see fucking pink UFOs, or maroon UFOs. You see like hard colored, very, very bright, versions of these colors. And then you start thinking about like the god of the sun, right? These various gods that are depicted. Many times they're either or more often than not, they're depicted in one of those several colors that we just named. Um, there's a what's the King Tut? No, I forget which king it was. There's a king that's often depicted as green, and for no one knows why. Everyone else is
Uh,
depicted as the regular color, brown, white, a tannish color. He's always green. So
Green.
like a
Do
greenish
you just mean
light.
the Green Knight or?
No, like they painted him on the wall as green every single time.
Oh, okay. Well, it was
A lot of people think that maybe, you know, some of these because pharaohs, pharaohs and these kings were often associated with, being half god or half um, deity, right? Like they were always the pharaohs always portrayed themselves as gods or above men, right? So there are many direct ties that you could start um, connecting the dots to, but Steve, I want to get back to Stephen Greer though, Dr. Greer for a second, just because Dr. Greer has been, I mean, he's been ridiculed. He's been laughed at.
Mhm.
He's been, I mean, you know, the guy put his life out there, right? To at least making peaceful contact or initiating peaceful contact. There have been some scandals around his name, like apparently he tried to hoax or I guess he was caught using flares or something like that. Like using flares to simulate UFOs. Um, but generally, most people, like, he has connections everywhere, dude. Like, he has government, like, he briefs presidents. Like, the guy's up there for a reason. And I don't know. I mean, he says he's created these protocols to initiate peaceful contact, but there is a lot of finance behind it. So, like, to go on a retreat with him is like 3 grand. All this, even his app it costs money. So a lot of people tie the financial gain to it to being fraud. But then you got guys like Luis Elizondo who still have government clearance, like top secret, tags, and no one questions them. It's like, dude, the government is the problem. Like the government are the ones that are covering shit up. Like
Mhm.
regardless of UFOs, put all that shit aside. The government, honestly, they've done some shady shit. Very, very shady shit. Look at the
Well,
global
I
warming.
mean, other news: grass is green.
Yeah. But that's the same government that we're trusting once they release a couple videos.
Yeah, that's
Could they
and
be, dude? A lot of people imagine this. So there are many believers of this as well, that the government may be trying to. Actually, a lot of the UFO community has been told, or at least there have been there's been a lot of discussion about it, about man-made UFOs and extraterrestrial created UFOs. So the man-made UFOs, or I forget what they called them, uh, alien reproductive vehicles, which are ARV, which have been documented. Like the Canadian government basically came out and said it, and then we know that Adolf Hitler was looking into this. Like Hitler was looking into a bunch of weird shit. Like he didn't give a fuck what the stigma was. He tried remote viewing, he tried everything. Meditation, Hitler was not above the dark arts. Let's put it that way. He did not mind being researching or putting money into like paranormal shit. And they reportedly looked into flying saucers and the technology around them. Because let's face it, if UFOs are real, whoever cracks that technology, boom, you own the world. That's it. No more fucking anything. there will be no defense you could put up against that shit. We can't defend against it now. Like the United States. So, I mean, if someone cracks the key to that technology, I mean, that
Yeah.
technology is, I mean, thousands and thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of years ahead of us. Gravity manipulation to travel throughout the universes or galaxies, be an interstellar vehicle. If you can crack the key to that, I mean, there's no one that's going to stop you. So a lot of people have looked into it for good authority. The general public has the stigma on it, but that's only because that stigma was created by the U.S. government. It's like think about a magician, right? Sleight of hand. I'm going to show you this hand, but you just don't. I'm showing you this hand so you don't see what I do with my other one. Right? That's sleight of hand. That is honestly a tactic that's been used by the government or the military for years and years and years and years. Right? The Gulf of Tonkin. We basically attacked ourselves so that the general public would basically feed into Vietnam. And they could get they basically bypassed the president because the president did not want to get involved with it because he knew it was stupid.
Or I mean, if you believe in the 9/11 conspiracy theory.
you could. It's basically. I don't want to go that way because that's a that's a fucking fucked up subject. Because I know people. I mean, I'm not too far away.
It's better to move away from it a bit, but
no, but it is often talked about because after that we basically had a war on oil. Right? There was a lot of financial gain to be had from that war, and you're damn right that it was utilized.
Yeah, what the government has done and what honestly religious
Basically,
groups
you
have
attack
done.
yourself to give the illusion of war. So there are people that think that the government or that the United States has a plan in place to simulate a mass invasion and that the next war will be an interplanetary war, quote unquote. I don't know about that one, but
yeah, I think that's a stretch, but
I think it's a stretch.
yeah, but it's just all this stuff
hey,
religious
imagine
groups
though,
and the government have pinned on those groups. It's very
right.
similar to what they do though, which is so hilarious.
But yeah, so I mean, imagine if they were tactically releasing information about UFOs so that, I mean, they normally paint it as a national security issue, national security threat. So, I mean, it does add up, but that's like saying the Snyder Cut's going to be restored. I mean, the Snyderverse is going to be restored.
Yeah,
You can theorize all day, but you don't get the facts.
I mean, honestly, I think ghosts are more real than that ever happening.
What, the Snyder Cut? I mean, Snyderverse?
Yeah. I mean, nothing against you guys, all you fans. I'm glad you love it, but Jesus Christ, it's just your logic. Anyway.
Yeah, let's just say that stupid can't be undone.
Yeah.
But I do want to say this about a lot of people say, "Oh, look at the drone." This is what a plane looks like on FLIR, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what a plane looks like on forward-looking infrared radar, FLIR. That's what it should look like. That's what it does look like. So, to anyone saying that this is either an aircraft of human origin or a drone is sadly mistaken. I mean, I'm just going to say it. You're sadly mistaken.
Yeah,
I'm not saying...
Again, other sightings, I can understand that logic, and I can understand just, the new tech or just, random object we don't know, just defense instead of just UFOs, but in this case, in some other cases, I just don't see that. I think it differs from what they're trying to bring up.
Yeah, I want to I wanted to watch this with you because this is the basically the Pentagon, and it's oh, that's not it.
Yeah,
So it's basically
that is one video though on the radar. Yeah, that like was so they classified like well, I'm not classified, but they just announced like
After saving
two
with customized car insurance
two
from Liberty
or
Mutual,
3 years
customized.
ago that officially that it's unidentified. They didn't know what it was. The U.S. government and stuff and military.
Yep.
But before that, because again, was older. It's a lot older than that. Like I forgot how old that was from. Like a decade or so. I don't know, 6 years. I don't remember the exact date. But before that, did they try to like say anything about it? Like explain it, like write it off as something before they officially said like they don't know what it is?
No, these ones never, ever. I've never saw them until 2017. Like I didn't see them anywhere until 2017, and then they just dropped. And they dropped at the New York Times. Well, I mean, I guess so. Commander Fravor had said that they were on some website beforehand, but that not a lot of people saw them, obviously, because it was some fucking obscure ass website that somehow got a copy of it. But we have to remember that Christopher Mellon had that video much longer before he gave it out or allowed it to be publicized. The only reason that these videos were kept technically secret, you see these like gauge the numbers on the side of it.
Yeah.
Like the basically the reason that these videos and most UFO videos from the military are actually they're not top secret, but they're classified secret because of how the radar works. What it can do is secret, right? They don't want that information getting out. It's not the actual video that's classified. It's the technology.
Yeah, well, it's similar with like other stuff. Like they don't want to release the Osama bin Laden like shooting video, not because of they're afraid to like show him dead or because he like.
But they might have some illegal shit.
Well, yes, because they sprayed like fucking 500 bullets in him, and that would have like that would have like unraveled a whole like conspiracy of like dirt in like the military and government.
Yeah, I mean, I most of the time the government won't release something because they probably shouldn't be there in the first place.
Yeah.
Right? Like famous case. We all know the case with, the drug runner. The CIA hired a pilot to work with Pablo Escobar and basically fly drugs across the border. The pilot, it was like they showed the pictures of the drugs coming in. And Pablo saw the plane and was like, oh, okay. I know who fucking snitched me out. I know who it is. And he fucking killed the pilot. All because the United States government released that video or the picture.
Yeah,
right?
and it was also the thing with like the Mexican police like arresting that one drug leader, and then they had a whole war, and then they had to release him, and then all the people in that video fucking got killed.
Exactly. So it's like the government sometimes, listen, I'm a firm believer that some shit does not need to see the light of day. The public does not need to know about it. Those things are those, right? Taking out a terrorist like that. Hey, do what you got to do, homie. I don't need to see it, right? But when it comes to are we alone in the fucking universe, I want to know. That could radically change my perception of what I think about myself, what I think about my place in the universe, what I think about human civilization. I mean, we can rewrite the fucking history books with information like that. It's
sadly, it will cause a lot of riots, and
it would cause. That's what I want to talk to you about. Do you think that the public is ready for it?
I think the public says they're ready for it. A lot of them, they'll never.
I'm not gonna lie, it scares me.
Yeah, no, 100%. They'll never 100% be ready for it. It is scary and other things, and definitely some people
it's naturally scary.
But like, but the majority of them are like, yeah, I mean that's a natural reaction. But we're ready. We like kind of already know that this is basically confirmed. I think we just want it to like finally just come out and say
Get it
it,
over
reveal
with.
it. Yes, but I think it will unravel with then revealing other things that then will
Yeah,
cause
the
riots.
church would fucking be empty. Like
Yeah,
it literally goes
everybody
against
will
every
just
single
riot.
thing. Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm sorry, it's not the churches would be empty. The Bible, the Catholic Bible would be highly negated by the existence of these other things, right? I mean, I know that there's like Buddhists, they don't have anything against it, but they actually, I think they actually reference it in some places, but I'm not sure. Again, I'm flaky with that. But
Mhm.
and then there are other religions that would not be affected if there was like other life outside of Earth. But I do believe that the Bible would be highly contested if UFOs turned out to be piloted by beings that are not from this Earth. Whatever shape that comes in, right? Because that would go against everything, right? I've never read the Bible, by the way.
I've never really read it either.
Did
Again,
you know any of what isn't that why the church like is basically not doesn't want this, right? Is it would basically stand against their views? Like wouldn't I mean I'm pretty sure people would like probably I don't want to say this, but I bet there would be like if that day ever comes when basically the president holds a press conference and he's like, hey, there's something we need to talk about. Fucking, we're sorry we lied to you for 100 years. But there's this thing. There is UFOs.
yeah. Well.
Ta-da!
Firstly, they won't apologize. Those bastards.
I know. They would apologize, but I mean, if or if the president could never basically come out and be like, "Hey, aliens exist." Well, what if one dropped on the fucking White House lawn tomorrow morning and like, yada boom, right? We're forced into this knowledge of life outside of Earth. I think there would be a mass suicide. I do. I hate to say it.
Oh yeah.
I think there would be large numbers of suicides. Honestly, I think the higher rate would be if they dropped onto the White House lawn tomorrow morning than if the president addressed the nation or someone addressed the nation and said, look, here's the thing. They are real, but, and it kind of explained it all. Like, we don't know exactly what form, we don't know this, we don't know that. Don't jump to conclusions. We are not in any danger or there's no imminent threat. Because let's face it, if there was a species that were capable of interstellar travel, they would not show up just to fucking eradicate us, or they wouldn't show up just to blow the planet up.
And I think they would have done it by now.
And they would have done it by now. You would literally go to sleep tomorrow night and you would never wake up. You wouldn't even know the difference, right? They would hit you from outer space. They would incinerate the fucking world, right? End of story. We would never see it coming.
Yeah, it's not like there's
Never.
much use to that. What use would there be to that?
Yeah, exactly. What use
It's
would
like
that
there's
be?
a billion, there's a infinite other planets they can fucking go to if they need resources.
Which are confirmed. Did you see the pictures from the James Webb?
Oh yeah, I'm so. I need to. I need to look at those again today. Later, those are beautiful.
Oh, let's pull them up. Let me. I'm gonna airdrop them in.
Yeah, like Jesus fuck. I was like, okay, no, because I opened like the Twitter story and I'm like, okay, so this is obviously the paintings reenactments. Okay, when do I get to the real like blurry photos? And I'm like, wait, oh shit.
Yeah, man, they were literally beautiful.
Yeah,
and I want to preface this. See this little piece of paper?
Mm-hmm.
That's how big of a picture we got in comparison to the universe. Like we got a fucking sliver in these pictures. So the picture I'm about to show you is a teeny sliver of the universe. And what it shows is remarkable. Every single dot that you see is a star, right? Or some sort of galaxy. Like the more roundabout ones, you can see different galaxies. You can see twin galaxies, merging galaxies. It is astonishing and breathtaking. This makes me feel really, really small. Like really, really, like I feel small and insignificant when I see this picture. And this is but a glip. By the way, what we're seeing is 13 billion years ago. So, the picture that these pictures are pictures that were. I mean, when you take a picture like this, you're seeing the galaxy or the star the way it was 13 billion years ago, right? It's like looking into the past almost, because light takes so much time to travel. That's where you get light years from, and this, I mean, it's just breathtaking, honestly.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah, like I
breathtaking.
keep seeing, I saw all those fucking pictures. I'm just like, okay, these are the the paintings somebody did.
Yeah,
Just as like the
a recreation
description.
of it.
Yeah, recreation. It's like, okay, when do we get to the real blurry ones? And then I'm
Oh, well,
scrolling
look at
through, and
that, man.
I'm like, wait, where
Oh,
where are the real ones? I'm like,
like
shit, no,
it's
this
so
can't be it.
it's so pretty. Like the universe is such a beautiful place.
Hmm.
So
So
you'd have
we
to,
can't be the only fucking ones.
right? We cannot. There's no fucking way.
Like
If
even if
even
it's just like fucking just like
bro, even if this was the entire universe that we were seeing right here,
yeah, there's still no way.
there was still no way that we're
Yeah, and
alone.
even if it's just like one planet with just like stupid animals, there's some life
Yeah,
form
I
under.
mean, you have to think about. I think they've clocked like upwards of 200,000 planets that are known to be at least somewhat like the algorithm that they used dictated somewhere up. It was a crazy amount of number of planets that could sustain life that are in the habitable zone between that third and fourth planet from
Yeah,
the sun.
and they found like many that were like identical to
Yeah,
ours.
look at Proxima Centauri. I mean, most people say that was for a long time considered to be Earth's twin. We found 900 of them since then, right? I mean, what I don't understand is like, doesn't that confirm it, right? If there are
Hmm.
that's gotta confirm it for you in some form or
Yeah.
fashion.
So
If there are
imagine if the whole fucking world just spent everything on space travel instead of fucking war.
instead of war and misery and iPhones and child
Uh,
labor and I mean
and TikToks.
and TikToks and fucking car insurance, Liberty Mutual. Yeah, I'm
Hmm.
calling you out, but I mean, it's. I mean, and a lot of people thought that was going to be what the start of the international space station would be, right? All of the world coming together to basically say space travel needs to be a Earth thing, not a country or a state or a province thing. This needs to be an Earth thing. Like we need to work together on it. Space travel is much too expensive. Much too
Yeah,
expensive.
and then that's gonna like end up with people going there and then crashing down the Earth, and they'll be destroyed one
Yep.
day. I was just like, hey, what happened? Oh, sorry, there were still wars going on.
Yeah, like that is such an ape-like thing,
Yeah,
is
Planet of
war.
the Apes.
War. War is such an ape-like fucking, it's so primitive to have this. And what are we fighting about? Like it makes, and Reagan addressed that in many of his speeches. He's on the record quoted as saying, I'd much like to think or much like to see what the world's superpowers and the world's governments would think if we were, facing down an alien threat,
Mm,
how small our problems would seem, right? Um, and honestly, that's an eerie thought. That's like
yeah.
the Independence Day look, right?
Yep.
Now, a lot of people want to know, are ETs or UFOs, is is it like the movie E.T. or is it like the movie Independence Day? That's what we need to figure out.
Yeah,
But
I don't think it's either. Honestly,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it would be either. Or basically, what I'm saying is, are their intentions good or bad? Or I mean, I guess neutral would be an option.
Well, neutral. I don't think they're here at all for any sort of like harming, but I don't think they give a fuck about us either. They're just like, it's just like how we sort of like
Some people
like,
said that, oh, they're
it's
gonna
like,
come here for the water. What?
it's like,
What?
it's like, no, you don't even know if
It's like they could have stopped at the 100 other planets they passed.
yeah, billion others, but yeah, but like, and even then, I mean, there's like insects that have like infinite water sources and like other things that scientists on here are trying to like figure out that could solve the water crisis in the future. And who knows, they could have done that on their planet, so they might
Yeah.
not need it anyway. But no, I think it's
think
just
about the things that we can accomplish together.
yes, but it's I would like to think of it though, just like, I mean, a lot of people do like the regular animal like example, but I would say like the deep sea animal example is like with those tadpole creatures like near the bottom, where yeah, that's what they think of us. So yeah, they don't give a fuck about us. And then it's the odd time if there's like a quote unquote abduction, it's just like take just the research on like we do with those deep sea fishes.
Yeah,
In the sea,
right,
and we bring
right.
them up.
There's not a single case of a UFO abduction case that someone died in. So
Yeah.
regardless if they're telling the truth or not, it seems that maybe they're just curious. Maybe they're much like we would, I hate to say, much like we would test shit on a rat. Maybe that's what they think of us.
Oh no, that's exactly what they think of us. We just test all the animals here. That's what they do. That's what they think of us here.
And they they test, but they,
and trying to learn the language maybe.
Yeah. But there are a lot of cases that, I mean, we could go back to the Battle of LA, right? Even the Battle of LA, which a lot of people forget happened, but basically right after Pearl Harbor, literally, I mean, I don't know when exactly it was after Pearl Harbor, but right after Pearl Harbor was attacked, the Battle of LA happened. So basically, the military, something was spotted, quote unquote, spotted over the skies of Los Angeles. The air raids went off. People thought it was the Japanese invading, like they did in Pearl Harbor. The military shut the light, mandatory blackout, so they blacked out the city, and you could just see turrets being fired into the sky at these bright lights, right? That people thought were the Japanese invading. There were people in LA that day that, were quoted as saying, like, we thought the world was ending that day. Like, we thought we were dying. We thought we were going to die that day because the air raids were going. Imagine what people were thinking after Pearl Harbor, right? And then all of a sudden, the lights go out, right? And all you can see from the base is turrets and fucking flyovers happening, right? But streams of bullets going into the sky, and you don't know what they're firing at. You don't know what's happening. You're just under a table in your house, right? Not knowing if the next breath you take is the last. The next morning after that happened, no reports of Japanese air flight over the United States, nor were near the United States, and no one could figure out. But there are many pictures of some of not many pictures, but there's a couple pictures that a journalist took with a very old camera, and you could see the spotlights all converging.
Oh yeah, the ones where they had the light shone on it and the bullets, and
you can't see anything, but you could see bullets going up. You could see all the lights converging on an object.
It was in like the figure, like the object was in like a figure of like those UFOs. I am more skeptical about that one though.
Still, I'm not saying it was a UFO then, because you can't. There's no proof.
Yeah, and it could have just been like an illusion from the lights being because they were all on like the same spot.
The military still to this day cannot explain what they were shooting at, and they basically
True.
act like it never happened.
Yeah,
But
well, that's the easy way to do it.
yeah, then you can go down the rabbit hole through what the Phoenix Lights. This happened in the
Oh yeah.
the 80s, 90s.
Yeah, they never explained the fucking Phoenix Lights, but then they pretend like they explained it.
Yeah, they pretend that they explained it with flares, but flares do not stay in formation throughout the sky. Even if they're even if they're parachuted flares, they still don't do that. The videos of the Phoenix Lights are crazy, by the way. Like, and then the governor, Fife Symington, made a mockery of everybody by bringing in a fake alien at a press conference.
Oh, that I wanted to just fucking punch whoever was in
Oh
that
God.
costume.
Yeah, it was his I believe it was his chief of staff.
Yeah,
It's
okay, well,
everything.
he's getting punched in
Like
the
Marco's
face.
backpack.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the SA.
So yeah, if anyone all anything that's on the sides, all this like measurement and all these numbers are what kept these videos from being released for a long time, because this was all classified secret.
Mm-hmm.
My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 100
So against the wind, and this thing is gonna rotate. No craft, by the way, no man-made craft can do what this is about to do.
That's not our LNS though, is it? It's not. That is an LNS, dude. Well, if there's, look at that thing. It's rotating.
So no, I want to repeat. I want to be very clear about this. There is not even one, publicly known aircraft that can maneuver this way, where it can rotate onto a different axis and keep flying. Not even remotely let up on the speed.
Yeah. Like it was literally like moving like an asset in like a video game in the air.
Literally, it's literally like rotating. Like, think about what even remotely could do something like that. There's nothing. So the Pentagon is saying this is not the United States. Thus saying, so they never say it, like the Pentagon will never come out and say, hey, look at this fucking UFO I got, right? Look at this UFO we tracked. But they said that's not us. That's not the United States. And you
I
can say
highly
arguably,
doubt it's China or
and you
Russia.
could arguably say, yeah, you could arguably say that if it's not the United States, then it's not any human, right?
Yeah.
If the United States can't figure it out, and they don't have that technology, then it's nobody else that's on this planet.
Yeah, it's like utter, like there are countries with utter technology and resources and like nukes and shit, yes, but like when it comes to this, like I don't see Russia or China ever having this, like for this area, this type of technology yet.
I mean,
it would have been public already a long time ago.
And we would have already been in a war with them.
Yeah, and then any other countries like India and stuff, hell no, I don't think. See,
no. So if it's not the United States, then by process of elimination, you eliminate the rest of the world, right? Right off the bat, you eliminate everybody. Maybe aside from Russia, China, I don't know. Maybe just those two, right? Russia, China.
Yeah, but I really don't see it being those two though.
Okay,
for this area.
Logistically though. So
yeah, well, yeah, I'll say that.
Yeah, okay. Logistically though, it could be one of three. It could be Russia, it could be China, it could be the United States. If it's not the United States, it's highly 99.999% not the latter of the two either, right? Russia or China. And if it's not us three, then it's not from this world, right? It was not created in this world. Now, whether it's a probe from a different solar system or a craft being piloted from a different solar system, it is from a different solar system.
Nah, man, you're missing the real clue, man. All right, it's obviously from Venezuela. That's where that's where all their money went.
I forgot the New Zealand government was flying UFOs around.
Hell yeah.
New Zealand, they were like, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys,
they've secretly just been in an underground base this whole time building up their technology to beat them.
Oh, God, no. Military and like law enforcement sightings they'll always be the most credible. I mean, these people The people that are talking on this video are paid or have been paid into by the government thousands and thousands and thousands, most of the time millions of dollars per person, right? To train these people to the degree that they're trained to. Then, all of that into account, right? They are essentially the best observers that there are, right? I mean, these people's job, the person that's talking about, oh, it's going against the wind, 120 knots. That's the radar operator. It's his fucking job to identify shit that flies. Literally. That's their, or yeah, radar, shit that flies. And then sonar detectors, their job is to identify shit that submerges. And if they can't explain it by, conventional means, then we need to take that seriously. If there's even a 1% chance, to quote Bruce Wayne, right? If there's even a 1% chance that this thing is our enemy, we need to take that as a threat. Or at least as not a threat, because we don't need to act like Batman and BVS, because he clearly had the wrong approach to it. But if there is something going on, these are the people that you need to take seriously, because they protect our country. They're the ones that are out there putting their necks out there, like putting their asses on the line every single day to protect this country. And then when they fucking come to you and say, hey, listen, I had an encounter, I almost fucking hit this thing, or this thing flew right next to me. If we can't identify it, right, aside from hopefully it's not some sort of United States, deep black op. Like, hopefully it's not our technology being, trained or tested against ourselves.
Mhm.
Hopefully it's not that, because if it is, that's pretty fucked up. But
Yeah, well, I mean, it wouldn't be the first time.
it wouldn't be. Like I said, it wouldn't be the first time. But to do it in this kind of fashion would be almost stupid, right? Like, it would be stupid to you got a brand new Super Hornet that cost you fucking $10 million to build. You're gonna go throw it out there and then have it get in a dogfight with this thing that is just gonna blow it out of the water. I mean, it seems idiotic and illogical to me.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the go fast. So this thing's moving at upwards of 7,000 miles per hour, which is fucking ridiculous. Like, we don't even have anything that can come close to that.
Yeah.
Like hold on, let's go back. Look how fast that thing's moving.
Yeah,
the radar can't even gauge it. That's how fast it's moving. He can't get a lock on it. He finally does lock it. So you can hear the excitement in his voice. Like, look, like when he locks it on the target, you can hear it in his voice. Like, by the way, after they did interviews with these people, they'd been tracking these things for weeks. Again, think about that. They've been tracking these things for weeks.
Damn.
Roger. They're troubleshooting. Did you box moving target? No, I took an auto track. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, dude. Wow. Okay. Look at it fly.
This is the video from the Fravor, Commander Fravor, his squad. So look at this thing move out of the fucking. So once he gets a lock on it, right? Once the thing knows that he locked on. What? No.
Well, it doesn't vanish.
No, it fucking spins across the fucking screen. So once it knows that he locks on, like, you see the craft go, he locks it, and then you just see it go whoop, right away.
Yeah, maybe we can find another video of that. Yeah, let's see. But now when it comes to UFO abductions, there's really only one that I can somewhat kind of see being possibly true, and it's the
Betty
one
Barney Hill.
It's
No,
I
please don't
think
say
that's
anybody else.
it's the one based off that film Fire in the Sky, if you know which one I'm talking about.
Oh, Fire in the Sky is
Yeah, that
Travis Walton.
yeah.
Yeah,
But even then though, there's
that
like
was the loggers, right?
yes, but even then though, it's like it's all just like
Look at this one.
people
Introducing Welcome Unlimited.
Oh, sorry.
people can lie, and lie detector tests have always
Yeah, you can
are
you
not-
can if you're a good enough liar, you can lie on a lie detector test. You can lie in hypnosis.
So lie detector test I just fucking hate. Literally, like there's an easy way to beat it. You just throughout the
Think you're
technique, you
telling the
just
truth.
like you just like there's people who like train to beat the lie detector test easily. It's like I believe one of the tactics is you literally just like clench your anus and then you can just beat it because that's one thing that people do. Like it's lie detector tests are just bullshit. So
Yeah, that's why they can't be used in court. Like if it can't
Yeah.
be used and if it can't be used as evidence against you in court, then it can't be used at all.
yeah, it's like he could have just been hiding out at that place, like locked there, like with like understanding, like okay, you have water after 6 days, we'll like release you, pretend
Yeah,
like you,
right. I'll tell you
and
anything.
we'll be famous. It's
Yeah.
like yeah, it's
Have
just
you ever heard about the Rendlesham Forest?
I
That
don't
incident?
remember.
Rendlesham Forest incident, the UFO incident, is the most insane story. I'll tell you after, but
Oh well, there was actually another one. It was I forgot what it was called, but it was the guy, that one like government person or military person who was like driving his car and saw one like land or crash, and then he like went to investigate, walked over there, and he saw
that's
like
Lonnie.
yeah,
That-
it was like this.
He was a police officer.
Yeah, that, and then he saw like two figures, and he turned around, and they were gone, and then the thing flew away. That
Lon-
I don't know, but
Lonnie was but they built a mural to him in that town. Like everybody in that town believes him because that's how credible he was. Like he didn't lie. He was like an old school guy. He didn't fucking have any use to come back and make up some story like that. So like let's take away all the bullshit. What you're left with must be the truth. And like all we can do is like and there was a study from a Harvard professor who later died tragically. Got hit by a car in London. But what? Did you just laugh?
wait, what? No,
Did you
I
just
didn't.
laugh that he got hit by a car?
No, I said
Oh, I was like, did you
I was
fucking-
listening.
you
I was
morbid fuck.
Jesus fuck! I wouldn't
No.
do that.
But John Mack was a very, 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 very famous psychologist professor or psychologist guy. I don't know what you want to call it, psychiatrist. I don't know if that's that he was, but he worked on the brain. Like he was very fascinated with the mind, and he wrote many books before this. But he did a study on how UFO abductions, how regardless if they're true or not, how they affected the person. Like, did they have any PTSD or anything like that? And he said, more often than not, 95 to 98% of the time, these people had no reason to make it up. You know, they didn't make any money off of it. They were actually affected. Like they were physically and mentally affected by what they at least believed what they were saying is basically the conclusion that he came to. So,
Yeah.
regardless of it, whether it's true or not, we have a serious issue. Like, we need to look into it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, well, I mean, even just one news article is enough for people, you know, like, just to be like, just that one thing a lot of people do. Like, there's a lot of stories about, like, I forgot what it's called, that British,
people hoax shit all the time for no
yeah,
reason.
it's like that, that, and like if we look back on, like, old archive videos from, like, for what it's called, the British, like, that one thing that's been running since like the 1920s, making those like news videos, the British, whatever it's called.
I'm unclear on what you're talking about.
I'll try to
Like pictures like this, like you could that are deemed authentic, but you just can't tell. Like someone could have They could have been very crafty with how they did this, right? That could be a smudge on the fucking lens, and it just looks like a UFO, so they pass it off. But yeah,
Yeah.
and you would have to deem that photo authentic because it's not tampered with. So it's an authentic photo, but that could be a smudge. But you
Yeah,
can see all
that
the
easily
birds
could be a
around it.
smudge. Like, it looks like a berm when you think about it. It could be.
Yeah, I mess around with cameras all the time. I see shit in the lens all the time that look like UFOs.
Yeah, it's like,
If
what
I
about the
pointed,
white dots floated around in the camera? That's just effects.
yeah,
Camera
yeah.
effects.
I could stage a UFO so easily, right? I know the tricks to get refraction and light. Like I know all that shit just from fucking shit up in the past. Like there's a way to hit the sun with your camera and move it quickly to the left or to the
Mhm.
right. So if you change direction, because you have to remember light can bend, right? So the way that the light hits your camera, it's almost like you kind of give it that prism aspect. So if you jolt it in the right way, you can basically create a manipulation like a secondary light off the sun. And if you can make it do 90-degree turn, right angle turns, you can make it look like a UFO and do a quick video. And it's like I did it the other day just to show myself that hey, some of these things like you can't believe it,
Yeah,
right?
it's pretty easy to
You
do,
gotta
honestly.
sift through the bullshit because it's so easy to fall down the rabbit hole on this and become
Mhm.
like a conspiracy theorist.
Oh, definitely. Yeah,
That's
it
not
was
what
a
I want to do.
British. I don't know if you're aware of this, but yeah, I posted in private chat. This was I was talking about just that old news thing that's been around since like the 1900s and stuff, making like news stories, like videos and stuff. But I'm saying like they archived old them. There's a lot of like old stories. Like I know there was like some lady who like claimed to be a fucking
This is a
like
YouTube channel.
yes, and it's like forgot when they're since
So what's the
1890
video?
since 1896 to 1984. Just an example. Was a whole news thing. Just old videos on their channel. Like no specific one, but just like. But this is just like there's many like old news videos on here that like archived of like people claiming shit like I like
Okay.
here's this lady who like claims that she she can like find gold because she's like possessed by a demon.
Okay.
Yeah, so just saying that's an example. Like people, hoax shit.
Oh
Time for
yeah.
and there's no like
I
net
see it now.
money thing at all to it. It was literally just for like one news thing. So yeah, people hoax it all the time with like no gain or just for one thing. So yeah, however, usually majority of the people who do hoax shit and do it for profit, they usually get exposed on TV quite easily.
And think about that, speaking of hoaxes, now I want to talk, Bob Lazar. Do you know who Bob Lazar is?
Oh yeah, that's the big guy that people keep bringing up. Yeah.
But he has no reason to have kept this story going for so long. So part of me really doesn't know whether I believe him or not. I mean, I know Rogan believes him. I know Jeremy Corbell, who did the documentary, believes him. George Knapp believes him. And George Knapp's a really respected fucking reporter and basically staked his career on Bob Lazar. There are a lot of people who believe Lazar. I don't know if I'm one of them, but I find it like some of his physics are off, which I've looked into. Some of what he says is a little bit off, but he's been consistent since day one. His physics have been the same since day one. So they've been off since day one, but they've been consistent for the past 30 some odd years. So, I'm not quick to judge or say he's lying, but I think that he's telling more of the truth than not the truth. But Bob's been connected to fucking prostitute rings. So, I mean, and he did it as a joke, but I mean, he still had to go to court for it. And it's actually, funny because that court case is actually what cemented him in my mind as potentially telling the truth because the court he had to supply all that information to the court about where he went to school, where he worked, all that stuff. And he said all exactly what he said to the reporters. He went to school at MIT and Caltech, and then he worked at Los Alamos. So he told the judge that, and the judge had to look into it. They couldn't find anything, same as the reporters, but that was his moment to come clean. But he held his ground. He held his tongue, and he was facing serious fucking charges. They wanted him to do jail time, like hard jail, like 10-year jail time for it. And he stuck to his guns and kept the story. So he had a bunch of chances to get out of this shit, but he didn't. So I mean, for me, that was kind of that's kind of what puts it over, right? Because once someone gets in legal trouble, they'll quickly fucking fess up. Like, oh, I didn't do it. I was just joking. I did this, all this. You know, they'll play victim. But Bob didn't do that. He fucking was like, nah, man. And I guess if the government really wanted to, they could erase where you went to school. They could erase you, Cole. They could erase you.
Mm-hmm.
And I would never know what happened.
Yep, they can easily do all that stuff.
Yeah, so I guess
quite easily. Like again, a lot of people. Again, I don't believe there's ever been like any abductions where people then actually never came back or died. I think it's just explained with other shit. But if that were actually the case, let's just say like that's a possibility. Then I mean that follows the people who keep saying like, well, why are all these alien abductions like people in like hillbilly redneck places or poverty places? Because I mean they're easier to take without leaving a trace or people noticing or caring, or just vanishing off.
Exactly.
A lot of people who just vanish off the face because there's like no record of them.
That would be another issue with disclosure. So if the government basically, tomorrow held a press conference and said UFOs are real, people would, automatically draw the dot between UFO and alien, and then alien to abduction. That would scare a bunch of fucking people. I don't want to be abducted. It's like, whoa. Oh, yeah. Pump the fucking brakes. Like, there's a bunch of kooks that think Eisenhower signed a treaty with UFO space people so that they could abduct 2,500 people per year for testing. No, 2,500 people total for testing. Total, not a year. And that he agreed to it for the better because if not, they were gonna just take us, and he couldn't have that. So there was a meetup, very secretive at Area 51. But that sounds like fucking like sci-fi. So no, I can't do that. I can't do that part of it.
Limited from Verizon at our best price ever, just $30 per line.
Dude, you know what I watched today? For anyone who wants a funny a UFO video, not a UFO video, but look up Dr. Stephen Greer on Jake Paul's podcast. So you got this. No, it's funny because it's fucking hard to watch.
Yeah, I know that's why, but I don't. I hate that fuckers so much that I don't even want to.
Dude, he was so stupid. Like, the words can't even. So you have this one guy trying really hard to talk about like legitimate subjects, like believe in UFOs or not, believe in aliens or not, believe in what he's saying or not. He's still, first most and foremost, he's a intellectual, a very smart human being who is trying to have a conversation with not smart individuals.
With one of the dumbest.
Planet. Yeah. Jake Paul, or Logan, which one it is.
It was Logan, I think you said, but
yeah, Logan.
Jake is dumber, but Logan's not too far behind.
Yeah, they're both on they're both on the same category as far as IQ. But it just depends.
Yeah, and they both should be in jail for the shit they done, but they get free passes.
Yeah, Logan's done some weird shit. Like
they've done many illegal shit. They should be there serving like 15 years at least.
Yeah, people always want to think that, oh, like Logan and Jake are gangsters or modern day gangsters. Bro, those dudes are the whitest motherfuckers from the most mid-suburban town,
Yeah, and
right?
I love how people, anytime, like,
Or like they're big tough guys. It's like, dude, they're from fucking suburbia, Michigan.
well, that, but also people like try to say, oh, they're changed, and it's like, no, they're not. No, they're not. Okay,
No.
first off, they haven't redeemed, just like Alinity and all those fucking bitches. They have not redeemed themselves. All right, they didn't take their punishments for all the bullshit they've done. Secondly, just because you go a bit silent now from like the news and mainstream and haven't done as much horrible shit doesn't mean you've changed.
It's like, dude, I've cut down on my illegal activity by 50%.
Hell yeah. Yeah, and I'm not in the news every week, and
Right.
like,
No, a
Jesus,
bunch of
fuck,
fucking
that
retards, man.
doesn't mean fucking anything.
I
Like,
hate to use that word. I hate to use that word, but they are of the mental retardation.
Yeah, I
like,
mean, I don't
echelon.
mind you. I stopped using the word just to try to, like, in public, because I know it can, like, hurt
Yeah.
people. But
But
I think like all,
I think everyone can agree that they're pretty mentally.
well, that and
they're
just
stunted.
anybody who uses the word retard, like, at no point have I ever seen anybody in history like use it to like insult somebody who's actually like on the spectrum. So
Yeah.
or
oh
like
God, I would
or
never.
have like
Yeah.
issues. So it's
Yeah.
just so that's why I just think of it as a regular insult. That's fine,
Yeah.
but I still just remove it just because I know it can offend people. But I'm cool with it. Words like autism is another story because it's
Yeah.
actually just a, you know.
Yeah, it's just an ailment. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just a slight. I mean, you wouldn't. There's a lot of people that have autism that you wouldn't even know have it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that there are others that.
And there's a lot of people just who partly have it.
Yeah, and then there's others.
Like
that are
how
obvious.
you could partly have it and you might not know.
Yeah, you might not even know it.
Yeah, like I could partly have it or partly ADHD. I don't know though.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely got something going on in my head, but
Yeah,
I mean,
well, I definitely do as well, but it's other things like PTSD, dyslexia, just being an introvert.
I'm very, very compulsive.
Yeah, anxiety, just many things. But I mean, I could have one of those two things as well, partly. I don't know, but I never got it checked. But yeah, I mean, there's many people with it. They just don't know. Many people partly with it.
I've always said that, you know, I don't think like the anxieties and all those ones. It's like I think everyone has it, but there are people that like have it and it's crippling.
Of the deck of the ship.
Look at this one.
The Pentagon confirming the images obtained video
Ready?
from an identified
Fucking
aerial
thing.
phenomenon to be presented to Congress.
That's okay. So by the way, I don't know if you
this
guys can see that, but that isn't like a regular triangle. That looks like a giant 3D like pyramid look. So it's like a double cylindric. So it's a cylinder. I mean a cone on the top. You like put two cones on on top of each other, so that the points are sticking at each end.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this looks like.
Already online, some skeptics say the images are caused by cameras trying to focus, but some of the objects go beyond.
Well, actually, no, more like one ice cream cone. But I mean, that one's like blinking. So I mean, you could get away with the whole like, because like, I don't know, is it blinking or is it just me?
This summer, already online, some skeptics say the images.
I think that's just the infrared bouncing off the light.
Yeah,
are caused by cameras trying to focus, but some of the
okay, yeah, because the whole problem with this one for me was that it was blinking, but now I kind of see that it's not actually blinking.
A friend of mine was able to have his aircraft stop at 40,000 feet or so and not continue operating as a normal aircraft. What was going on?
In December, ex-CIA Director John Brennan said it was arrogant to believe there are no other forms of life other than the ones on Earth. And former intelligence chief John Radcliffe says officials have been tracking technology beyond our capabilities.
We're talking about objects picked up by satellite imagery that are difficult to explain.
Like another incident off the coast of the planet can't explain.
And guys, now here's the thing about those last 3 F-18 videos. I recently asked the former director of the Advanced Aerial Threat Identification Program at the Pentagon, point blank, Are those the only videos that the government has? He said no. Those were probably the least compelling videos.
Yeah. By the way, that's the scariest part.
With the least compelling?
These are the least compelling that he's seen. That's Luis Elizondo. So he was, I mean, this guy, Luis Elizondo, basically was a shadow for 20 years. I mean, he was a military, like deep embedded, right? I mean, this guy didn't exist for many years, let alone sit in the public eye. Now, I mean, he left the military, basically. He left the military and then subsequently left the Pentagon because he says, this is what he says. Again, you could question his motives. I mean, you know, a former government employee, it's hard not to question some of the shit that they say, you know, because they're professional fucking liars. But I mean, this guy basically seceded from behind the shadows because he felt that this issue was not being taken as serious as it needed to be, and he couldn't do what he needed to do. So he basically, what he says is, he says he was given a mission. He said he was handed the UFO files from, you know, whatever the military sightings, and he only handles like the military and the more like law enforcement-y stuff. Anything that the military was associated with, you know, he was asked to identify and assess that threat. Is it a threat? Is it not a threat? And he said that he's still trying to finish his mission, but he couldn't do it from within the government. There was too many blockades, too many people that didn't want to have the conversations, too many people that wanted to look the other fucking way because they don't want. I mean, we have to face it. The government. What do they say every single day when Congress starts and finishes? You know, they talk about God, right? Every single time. You know, there's too many people, too many old school politicians that are still in that religious aspect that don't want the truth out there because
at this point, they're, you know, because they're like in their 60s, you know, they've already spent this long with it. They don't want to go to the grave.
Yeah, and they don't want to be that. Basically, I mean, they're
just afraid of dying without an afterlife, basically, so they're gonna deny it.
But it's like, dude, if there's UFOs and aliens and there's other life out there, that we're not even scratching the surface on the afterlife and what fucking really might be.
Yeah, that's what they don't get. It's like, sure, that might destroy our religion, but it could open more.
It could open way more. Like, imagine we know that when we die, we just plop back down. You know, imagine
to like another one
into another universe. Like, God, we're not even on Earth anymore. You could plop right into Zeta Varticuli for all we know.
Yeah,
like,
I don't believe that though, but I'm still.
Well, I mean, the two questions often are associated with each other, right? They're the two questions that we all have. I started the article and the video with it, right? What happens after we die, and are we alone? Those are arguably the two biggest questions in humanity, or as beings that can think. Those are the two biggest questions that I can think of. And to the fact that we may have an answer for one of them, that's pretty cool. But I'm gonna probably wrap it up there. Okay. Thank you for joining me.
Oh yeah, I mean, did you know that one Canadian Prime Minister, that one person in Canada, who said that it was a bit crazy, but
can you just pause for 1 sec?
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
Yeah, no, it's just I just remembered that one guy, and it was similar to what we were talking about right there, so I wanted to bring him up quickly before we end this.
I'm sorry, I had to go my Coke. I was dying.
Yeah. So I just wanted to bring him up quickly before you ended this because it's kind of was similar to
what
we were just talking about. I forgot who, but it was
Canadian
just like
Prime Minister of the sitting,
or this mayor, just Canadian, just someone leader who was like. It seemed a bit crazy, but he like went out and said like there's yes, aliens are real, and there's like
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, intergalactic thing, but like, we have to put away our nuclear weapons.
Yeah,
join.
there's a base on the backside of the moon that the United States government is in cahoots with.
Mhm.
That all the missions to the moon, all the Apollo missions were to set up that base, to set up that communication. But then again, there are astronauts that have said some fucking really weird things, and supposedly seen some really weird shit. This is total speculation, but Buzz Aldrin often, I think he said it a couple times. He said when he stepped onto the moon, there was 5 UFOs or UAPs that were observing that mission. So, I mean, take it what you want, take it what you will. I don't know. Could it be real? I don't know. If Navy pilots are good witnesses, then astronauts are fucking tremendous witnesses. So, I don't know. Take it how you want, but definitely keep an open mind is all I'd say. Right?
Yeah.
Don't let anyone tell you what's out there. You have to figure that out.
Bob Lazar's documentaries are definitely very interesting. Definitely.
Oh yeah, Area Fit. So if you do want to watch, actually, I'll give a couple
recommendations.
Sorry, my mic just cut out there. I'll give a couple of recommendations. Do you have any that you would like to share with?
Not really off the top of my head. Honestly, when it comes to films or documentaries about that stuff, I watch a bunch of them, but they all have like similar names or just like random titles, and then I forget. And then the fictional ones, I mean,
if you watch Ancient Aliens, then you're already in the wrong place.
Yeah, but I mean, the fictional ones, even the ones based off of like true stories, like fucking what was that one, Phoenix Forgotten, and like even Fire in the Sky, which was pretty good.
I mean, Fire in the Sky was like hella accurate, except for the ending.
Yeah,
the ending is not right, by the way, just so you know. The ending is polarly different between what actually is documented to have happened, because then again, I can't say it legitimately happened. I don't know. But the way that the story goes is not the way that the ending happened. It's a much different ending, a much easier, it's a more real life ending. Put it that way. Nothing bad happens.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, I mean, outside of that one though, for the fictional ones, not really, because I mean they're fun to watch, but they're not really good films or anything. But
yeah,
and then the documentary ones I watch so much, and they're kind of the same. I kind of forget. So yeah, I don't really have any recommendations. But what about you?
If anyone wants to dig further into this subject, there's 3 documentaries that I suggest. Number 1, start with 4 documentaries. 2 of them are docu-television series, if you will, and then 2 of them are like feature-length film documentaries. Mm-hmm. So number one is definitely got to be Declassified, Top UFO. No. It's on Netflix right now. Fuck. God damn it. I'll start with the other ones then. All right. Number 4. We'll start at number 4 then, the least of the 4. Watch Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. So that's one of Stephen Greer's. So watch Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. Number 3 is also from Stephen Greer, and that is Unacknowledged. That's a good, really, doesn't matter what you think about Greer. It's a fucking really well made and, sticks to the basics. Unacknowledged. I
think the one you were talking about was Top Secret UFO Projects Declassified.
Thank you. Yes, that's the one. It's on Netflix right now. It's 6 episodes, and they pretty much cover the general gist, and they get it. And they get it spot the fuck on. Mm-hmm. So that's those 3. So now we have 5, 4, and number 1. So now we'll go to number 2. Number 2 is Unidentified. So Unidentified, Inside America's, UFO fucking cases. That's the one that To the Stars was. So To the Stars Academy, which is Christopher Mellon, Luis Elizondo, Tom DeLong. That's where these videos. So the people that released the gimbal video, all the videos that we just watched, basically, that's them, right? So that was all, based on that show as well. And then number 3. Oh shit! I already did number 3. No, I didn't do number 3. Number 3 is Bob Lazar and Area 51 and Flying Saucers.
Yeah, I think that one's like one of the most popular ones.
That's gotta always gotta be in the top 3.
That's like the most known, but definitely
great. But those are all in my account, and trust me, I've been deep into the rabbit hole on this. Those are the 5 single best depictions of UFO encounters that you need to know
I will
about.
say though, the Bob Lazar one, great info in it. But the documentary, the filmmaker itself did a very poor job, so not really like a well-made one. But just for like the info though, it's very good.
So you didn't like Jeremy Corbell's work?
Yeah, Jeremy
Corbell did that.
I did not like his work. He didn't do a great job, in my opinion.
There are parts of it that are touch and go. I can definitely agree with you.
I just thought it was pretty below average, like his
it
work.
Was. It didn't. You know what it didn't do is it didn't excite you. Like there was no excitement to what was being talked about, but what was being talked about was exciting.
Yeah, fascinating subject by a terrible filmmaker, I would say. So yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. But as a film itself, mediocre. But as for this, very good.
I hope Jeremy never sees this.
I was mainly joking, Jeremy.
No, you don't have to. No. Trust me, I don't know him. I'm just saying. I hope he never watches this.
Hey, yeah, you never know. I mean, I'm nothing against him. It's
just,
just get better. Well, no, just get better. You can do better. I believe in you.
So look, but hey, there's other people like this. Greer's full of doo-doo. I respect what he's done for disclosure with his hearings, but so much of his content is obviously made up.
Yeah, I do agree.
He's not wrong. A lot of Dr. Greer is fundamentally needs to be challenged because it's all backed with financial. Seemingly,
out of all the people, that's one of the biggest people, I doubt. Yeah.
So, I mean, Dr. Greer is definitely got things that he needs to be questioned about as well. But you can make that case for anyone in the UFO community. Like, why are guys from the government leaving the government to talk about UFOs? Can't be for fucking money, right? Like, you'd think. There's got to be more money in being in the government than UFOs. But then you really start to think, and you think about the UFO topic. The UFO topic probably generates a lot of money per year, like overall. I can't, from conventions and I don't know, fucking like retreats, like Greer brings people on. Like Dr. Greer's retreats are not cheap. They're $3,000 a pop for 3 days. Right, $1,500. I can't even imagine what the week one is like. You're looking upwards of fucking, $4,000 or $5,000 of $10,000. I don't know.
Yeah, and then there's also the Travis Walton case, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. He went on that reality show, The Moment of Truth, and it said came up false when they asked the big question.
Yeah.
Now, again, there's a lot of, just like Greer, there's a lot of sketchy stuff to his stuff that he just waves off as, oh, they weren't listening to me, like the first question.
And like I said, he's been...
episode. But that certain thing, again, lie detector tests are terrible. And also reality TV, they intentionally do things behind the scenes to make it,
more interesting.
Yeah. So again, just like Greer, it's 50-50. You have to...
Exactly. Yeah, you gotta sift through the bullshit, like I said, and whatever you're left with, that's got to be something close to the truth. And do I believe Dr. Greer was teleported onto an alien craft and developed the CE5 protocol? No, absolutely not. Do I believe that he's figured out or tapped into a way to potentially at least guide a UFO to maybe where you are? Maybe. I don't know. I guess I'll have to see it with my own eyes, which I will try to do, and I will try to document it. I am going to try to go to one of these things, and I'm going to give it my best. Like, if they tell me to meditate, I'll meditate. I'm going to do what's told, do what I'm told. I genuinely want to see what happens. Genuinely. But I'm not going to bow down to the guy. Fuck no. Just because he's made a couple, documentaries and, talked to a president or two. I don't know. I don't do that.
Jesus.
I don't.
Every time I think of those people bowing down,
yeah,
I just think of like those fucking people like Billy Mitchell, cocksuckers, Billy Mitchell and Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
That's what I think when people like bow down too much.
Right. But yeah, guys, thanks for joining us tonight. I know this topic is it's hard to digest for some people. I get it, right? It's hard to think about. It's hard to want to know, and knowing is a little bit scary, right? It's to know that we're not the center of the universe, right? At one point, that was considered taboo, right?
For me, I've gotten over it because we're all going to die soon anyway, so who cares?
Fuck yeah! If we have an expiration date, if we're all going to go, why not know every single fucking little minute, or whether it seems minute or small? I want to know everything. Anything that's possible.
Yeah, and if it scares you, you have some panic attacks. Hey, just smoke a joint. Smoke a joint, take some acid. I don't know.
Then you rub some dirt in it and you move on.
Just marry someone. I don't know. Just whatever.
Right here. Listen, I'm not above a good old like a Bolski, chilling out, and then watching the sky and stuff. But getting all hippie. But there is something going on. Regardless, whether we want to believe it or not, something is happening, right?
Yeah.
It's happening every single day. It's happening all the time around us, over us. And we need to figure out what it is. If we could figure it out and we could plausibly say, oh shit, we figured it out. It was this. And we could explain it. I want that knowledge. I want to know what we've been mistaking for UFOs. Did the government cover up Roswell? I want to know. And if it's not the thing that I want it to be, I'm okay with that. I just want to know the truth.
Yep, I'm cool with that because even then,
now we can
even
start
then
moving on.
That's fine. That's fine. The truth's good, and again, it's not like this consumes our whole life anyway. It's just something interesting. If it's the case, it's all bullshit. That's cool as long as we know the truth. But also, that doesn't always cancel the possibility anyway, because again, the universe is infinite. So there's no UFOs flying
even if
around
tomorrow
and spying on us, but that doesn't mean there isn't any other life forms.
Exactly.
There definitely is.
Yeah, exactly. So even if you ruled out the UFOs that we've seen till right now, that doesn't mean tomorrow that shit don't plop right down. Right? It's just there's no way to definitively say yes or no each way. It is a very scary thought, right? That at any moment something could go down. But we live with that thought every day.
Yes, we look at what's going on with Russia and Ukraine right now. Look at World War II. It happens everywhere. Not just with everything.
And on that note, it's oh god, got a little morbid there. Not you, not true. You, but all of it.
It's scaring people. But
that's the thing. We never stopped. We didn't stop the fucking car from being made so that we could save the horse and buggy. We didn't keep the libraries open and say no to the internet. We've always got to be able to move forward and move on, right? For the better understanding, so that we can leave a better world to our children, and thus, the role goes on. That should be our goal.
Yeah. Again, whether religion, whether you believe it's true or not, either way, honestly, if everybody just everyone in the world agreed, okay, it's bullshit, or just didn't believe it, and honestly, 95% of the issues in the world would not be a thing. Now, I'm not saying that as in it's 100% bullshit. If you believe it, you're dumb. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying with how humans are and what they've done with like religion, with like every part of the world, 95% of the issues and not like moving the like talking about certain things like the UFO stuff all has to do with religion. And if it, it would solve 95% of issues. That's just a fact.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. We would never be more united as a
Yeah,
human.
like all the fucking Arabic countries would not be like that.
Yeah.
Because
Like,
their
dude,
countries run on religion.
Dude, literally at the moment it happened, if God forbid, a craft just ever, a giant one. I'm not talking about just a flyby. I'm talking about like bang, like, arrival kind of shit. If that ever happened, you could bet your ass that every single person would forget about what, like, even if you were in a fight, right? You're on the battlefield and that shit happened. You would immediately drop your weapon, fucking, hug your fellow man, right? Because we're in this together. So, like, that's part of me is like, God, like, would it be better for us?
Honestly, that's how like every speech. I mean, it might be, but that's kind of like how every speech went though with those people who like those astronauts who got to visit space, like for the very first ones and everything. Like they've had recordings of like their experience, and honestly, the dumb experience in that's literally the equivalent of what you said. It made them realize like, yeah, we're all the same, because this was like in the 50s and 60s or like even 40s, like 50s and stuff. Like there was still like a bunch of discrimination, racism, everything, but then they realized, yeah, we're all the same, we're in this together, we're all the human race. It made them realize that it would be the same type of thing. When
you look at the Earth, you do not see, like, if you were to zoom out somehow and you were just looking at the, sitting on the moon and you were looking at the Earth, you would see the Earth as one thing, right? One planet. So its inhabitants, we're all Earthlings at that point. If you're looking in at Earth, we're all Earthlings. Think about that. We may be different animals or different species, different whatever, but to an outsider looking in at us, we are all of Earth. That's it. That's it. We're of Earth. Let's start that hashtag of Earth.
Yeah, it's crazy how people try to deny that we're not basically just another species of animals. No, we just have the same autopsy in every fucking thing as in any other animal.
We share like 90% of our DNA with like shit ton of things.
Yes, and just 99.9999% of us are just the same as any other animal, just besides being able to talk
and walk and think.
Instead of sign language and other shit. But
and another crazy thing about it is, like, people want to get it down to race. Like, I almost said race instead of racial or race. I couldn't decide on what word I was going to say, so I mixed them. Race. But all races, all the color of your skin is just based on the pigmentation of where you like are in reference to the equator. Like, it literally makes no sense to think that we're any different from each other. Black, white, green, or yellow. Like, it has nothing to do with that. Chinese people look different than a Caucasian person for the same reason that, someone from Africa, it's where you are that determines how you look because of the environment. Like, we adapt to our environment. I believe that the original, like the ancient Sumerians, they were barely white. White was a secondary thing. Like, white was an offshoot.
It was true.
Like, white was a genetical offshoot from something.
It's just insane to me all those years prior how people just would look at like other animals, just like the different skin colors and fur of other animals, and just not correlate that to like humans.
Yeah,
that we're all
a
the
border
same.
collie and a pit bull are different dogs, but we don't discriminate on them. Actually, people do discriminate on pit bulls.
They do. I was about to say.
Fuck.
Well, anyway, we're going a bit too long now.
I didn't even get the whole sentence out before I realized.
I mean, sorry if I dragged this on. We're gonna end this at like 1:42. It's now like 2:02. So sorry about that, but
no. It's all good. It's all good. I'm always down for a conversation.
Yeah.
We'll leave you with this picture.
Fuck me.
The color gets better, but the bomb stays terrible. So anyway, guys, make sure that you hit that like button. I know this topic is a little hard to digest, but I promise if you keep an open mind, I will too. And we do it for you. We do it for the culture. See you at Springfield Comic-Con. Fuck. Did you watch the finale for Ms. Marvel? I have not.
Oh, I have not yet. I need to do that today, though.
I know. I haven't watched it yet.
Need to do a stream with multi-topic on Friday for that, and then I need to binge watch at least the whole first season of Stargirl because he wants to talk about that. So.
To what?
Of Stargirl, he wants me to binge watch that so we can talk about it.
That's a good show. I love Stargirl.
Yeah, a lot of people talk about it. Never had the time, but I'm gonna get into it. I mean,
it's definitely geared towards teenage girls. Put it that way. But season 2 is pretty fucking dark at times. I was like, damn. But I like Superman and Lois. Superman and Lois is the only Arrow show that I'll watch ever at this point.
Superman and Lois to me is like, again, I haven't seen Stargirl, and I'm not counting like ones that are like mostly like just DC and like HBO related. But so just, I mean, even
Stargirl
then,
and Superman and Lois, that's it.
Yeah, but I mean, again, even Superman and Lois, you could say is more DC and HBO based, but still, out of all the CW shows, Superman and Lois out front I've seen so far, which is pretty much everything besides Stargirl, is the only one I like, and I think it's just a fluke because again, it follows the same path of any other CW show. Let's just take this superhero character and just make like a fucking like a regular drama out of it, like boots on the ground shit. But it actually works for Superman because that's what's interesting about his character, and for the comics,
exactly.
Like, trying to live a life as a regular person, as like an immoral, powerful being, and like the difficulties. So that I think it was just a complete fluke and just a coincidence that ended up being good. And because if it wasn't, then there wouldn't have been like those bullshit, needless, boring like side storylines and plots and characters.
Yep. That's a very good point. I did not think about that earlier. That the fact that Superman and Lois works is a testament to the character, because Superman is so OP that it's hard to like do good Superman stories. But like in a show, you can just work that drama aspect of it, and like that's the fascination of the character in the comics as well. Is not the drama, but the his interaction with the rest of the world, him trying to fit in is generally what people like to see. So Stargirl's I'll give you this. The Stargirl does not stick to the CW formula, so I think it'll be refreshing for you.
Okay.
I think that's what was really good about it, is it felt new and it felt different, along with like Titans and Swamp Thing and those shows. It felt different like that in comparison to the CW. So, anything going away from that CW fucking template is good for me. Like I'm happy. So I finished The Boys. The Boys is done. Great fucking season.
Oh yeah, that's the best one yet, in my opinion, for them.
Oh yeah. I saw Thor. Did you see Thor?
Yeah, I definitely did not like that.
Yeah.
No.
I haven't really talked about anything movie. That's why I'm kind of recapping.
Like honestly, for Thor: Love and Thunder, like there's worse MCU films definitely, but in those worse MCU films, there are at least with the characters, there are at least characters I like in them still, like and actors where I can say, okay, well, with what they were given, which was dog shit, they did an all right job. With
I kind of just don't like Taika.
Yeah, I think he's over. I think he's a good director, but he's kind of overrated, and he's kind of
snobby.
That, and he copies too much of Wes Anderson and other directors. But
yeah, I think he's very
but for Thor: Love and Thunder, though, unlike all those others, even dog shit fucking Captain Marvel and Eternals, this is the first, even worse ones. This is the first one where there's not a single character I like, and again, not because of the actors, just like it's a mix of like all of the, but it's just like either the character they did an okay job with, but then the actor like did not, like Russell Crowe, in my opinion, or just they did things like they separated characters for most of the film that had good chemistry from the previous film, so it kind of drags them down. And then, or just the character sucks, like Gore, like Christian Bale did his best, but fuck, you can't do anything with that.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, I didn't mind it. I didn't mind Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
I've been a fan of. No, I mean, it is what it is. I know.
Yeah.
I know it wasn't good. Like it wasn't great.
Oh well, no, that's cool. What did you like about it though? Like,
God, you know what I liked about it is generally what I liked about like Eternals. I thought it delivered very like you know. It's hard to defend it because I know how I sound right now. It's like, oh, you're grasping at something to like. So no, I just honestly I enjoyed myself during it. The tone of it, the I know the humor can be a bit forced in the Thor movies, and I think Taika definitely brought that again. And I don't want to give anything away because it's still in that like first week time. But you're right. The best part was Gore, and that was not even that great. However, I mean, it's another Marvel movie. Honestly, I think they're becoming kind of cookie cutter, so they all feel the same. And especially Phase 4, for some reason they just haven't dialed it in yet for the films. There's only Spider-Man: No Way Home. That's really the only good, truly great Phase 4 film. Everything else has been lackluster. You got Black Widow, Eternals. Shang-Chi wasn't that great. I mean, it was good, but it wasn't that great. You just go down the line, and there hasn't really been anything that
There really
stood
isn't
out.
any for me. Like No Way Home, I thought that at first. I thought it wasn't just the nostalgia and everything. Like it was a genuinely great film. Like John Watts took all the amateur filmmaking aspects of his first two films that he was kind of doing, but then brought it up like to a whole other level.
Dialed it to 10 real quick.
Yes, but the more I think about it, and the more those hack MCU writers, just the more I think about the film, I still think it's solid and enjoyable, and I had a blast. I had a fucking blast in the theaters, best experience like ever. But I don't know if I would call it a great film anymore. I think it's just solid.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely delivered on the nostalgia. Like it pushed that button hard.
Yeah.
And I think
like, honestly, despite all the issues in Multiverse of Madness, I would say it's the best just purely because of the filmmaking aspects of Sam Raimi, despite all the MCU bullshit and flaws in it, just purely off of just the filmmaking. Sam Raimi did a great job, so I thought it was an above average film and better than the others.
I did not care for Multiverse of Madness at the end of the day. I was just like, ugh, the ending. I was like, everything about it was cookie cutter. I was like, I thought the first Doctor Strange movie was so good because it just stepped away from the formula. I mean, it didn't step away from the formula because it was still a carbon copy villain. You know, it had that whole arc, the hero's arc, but it visually just brought something completely new. And then this movie just did not live up to that at all. Anyway, we'll talk more about movies this Sunday on the podcast with Freddie and everybody else. I think I got another guest joining. Then I'm filming some stuff for Comic-Con this weekend as well, which will go out to the members only. So if you want to watch any of those interviews, I already have the Mark Pellegrino one up for members, so you can check that out if you did want. And then again, everything I do for the convention beforehand will go up for the members immediately as soon as I'm done editing it. So with that being said, make sure to like the show, share the show, and subscribe to the show to help support. And we'll see you motherfucking next time.
you.